October 10th. 432 BC Battle of PotidÃ, on its revolt from the Athenians, in which Socrates and Alcibiades were nobly distinguished for their prowess and friendship. Year Anaxagoras, Phidias and Aspasia were prosecuted, the first for his impiety. 324. Constantius, the second and favorite son of Constantine, was installed by his father Tsar of the Gallic provinces. 1571. The field of Tulliangus was stricken between John Gordon and Arthur Forbes, brother of Lord Forbes, where the said Arthur was slain, with sundry others of his kin. On the other side John Gordon of Buckie, with divers hurt on both sides. A Scottish foray. 1582. The new style adopted in France, this day being made the 20th. 1615. Battle between Champlain and the Iroquois, in western New York. 1632. Thomas Allen died, an Englishman illustrious for his knowledge of mathematics and philosophy. He published, among other works, the second and third books of Ptolemy on the judgment of the stars. 1706. Paul Pezron, a learned Frenchman, died. He occupied himself with the study of the Greek and Latin historians, and in tracing the origin of the language of the Goths, and made up a new system of chronology. 1710. David Gregory, an eminent Scottish mathematician, died. He displayed great powers in the elements of optics, and physical and geometrical astronomy, improving the discoveries of others by new and elegant demonstrations. He proposed to publish all the works of the ancient mathematicians, but did not live to finish the series. 1742. 60 persons killed by the falling of the roof of the church in Farnrossshire, in the time of worship. 1744. John Henry Schulze, a German physician, died. Professor of medicine at Halle, and author of a history of medicine from the creation to the year of Rome 535. 1747. John Potter, Primate of England, died. Besides theological and other works he wrote Antiquities of Greece, 2 volumes, which have passed through several editions. 1747. British fleet of 14 ships, Admiral Hawke, engaged the French fleet under M. de Ledender, and captured 7 ships of the line, and a 50-gun ship. 1772. William Wilkie died, a Scottish divine and poet, and professor of philosophy at St. Andrews. 1774. Battle between the Americans, 1,400 men, from Virginia, under Colonel Lewis, and about 600 Ohio Indians. The Indians made the attack. 400 of the Virginians were killed and 100 wounded. 1775. British General Gage sailed from Boston for Great Britain, and the command of the army devolved upon General Howe. 1775. Louis Nicolas Victor Moise, Minister of War and Marshal of France, died. He signalized himself at several important engagements, which led to his promotion. 1780. Hurricane in the West Indies, which continued about 48 hours. Several towns were leveled with the dust, and many thousand persons lost their lives. Several hundred vessels in the different ports were driven to sea or dashed to pieces. 1783. Henry Brooke, an eminent Irish writer, died. His tragedy of Gustavus Vasa, though forbidden the stage for its tone of freedom and liberty, met with a rapid sale. 1787. The Prussians under the Duke of Brunswick took the city of Amsterdam by capitulation. It is said that before the surrender water sold for an English shilling a quart. 1792. Lord Mulgrave died at Liege, aged 48. He was Captain Phipps in the British service, and was celebrated for his voyage towards the North Pole. 1794. Battle of Fersen, or Machaoes, between the Russians and the Poles under Kosciuszko. The contest was bloody and fatal to the Patriots. The victory was wavering, and the expected reinforcements not appearing, Kosciuszko, at the head of his principal officers, made a furious charge and plunged into the midst of the Russians. He had 3 horses killed under him, and finally fell covered with wounds, and was captured. 1797. Carter Braxton died, a signer of the Declaration of Independence from Virginia. 1800. Explosion of an infernal machine intended to have destroyed Bonaparte, then First Consul, as he proceeded to the opera. Faster than was his custom, and the engine exploded half a minute after the carriage had passed, killed 20 persons, and wounded 53, and shattered the windows on both sides of the street. 1806. Jeremiah James Oberlin, an eminent archaeologist of Strasbourg, died. He was an accurate and industrious scholar, and besides various original works, published good editions of several of the Latin classics. 1806. Sanguinary battle at the Bridge of Seefeld in Saxony. The French under Suchet defeated the Prussians, and their general, Prince Ferdinand Louis, was killed. 1812. Varaya, in Russia, garrisoned by the French, taken by the Russians under Dorokhov. 500 French were killed and 400 captured. The standard of Westphalia and 500 muskets were taken, and the place having been made a depot for provisions, great quantities fell into the hands of the Russians. 1824. Francis Balthazar Salvins, a celebrated Dutch painter and engraver, died. He spent 15 years in Hindostan, studying the languages, manners and customs of the East, on which he published a work in folio. 1832. James Stephen, an English statesman and philanthropist, died. He suggested and arranged the whole system of continental blockade, which for a long time occasioned great embarrassment to Bonaparte. 1834. Thomas Say, an eminent naturalist, died at New Harmony. He early abandoned his mercantile pursuits to devote himself to the study of nature. Perhaps no man has done more to make known the zoology of this country than he. 1836. Martha Randolph, last surviving daughter of Thomas Jefferson, a lady of distinguished talents and virtues, died in Albemarle County, Virginia, aged 70. 1840. The Egyptian army under Ibrahim Pasha and Solomon Pasha defeated near Beirut, in Syria, by the allied British and Turkish troops under Salim Pasha, Napier and Colonel Hodges, with the loss of 7,000 men. 1841. John Bailey, a noted justice of the King's Bench and Baron of the Exchequer, died in England, aged 78. 1841. Karl Friedrich Schinkel, the most eminent architect in Prussia, died at Berlin, aged 61. 1849. A memorial for the annexation of Canada to the United States, received in 5 hours the signatures of 300 merchants, landowners, and professional men, at Montreal. 1849. The initial point of the boundary line between the United States and Mexico settled, and a monument with inscriptions erected in north latitude 32 degrees 31. 59.58, and in longitude 119 degrees 35 0.15 west from Greenwich. 1854. Gordon Drummond, a British officer who saw much service in the war with the United States in 1812, died in London, aged 82. At the Battle of Niagara.